Laos, a country of outstanding natural beauty, where the Mekong River winds its way through mountains cloaked in dense tropical forests. It's one of the most pristine countries in Southeast Asia. A treasure trove of wildlife. The mighty Mekong River flows down through a landscape that it has sculpted over millennia. It's central to the survival of countless enigmatic and endangered creatures. From magnificent gibbons and dazzling peafowl to marauding macaques, Laos is a land of kaleidoscopic beauty. The mountain wilds of northern Laos. A living paradise fed by the Mekong River. The Mekong's vast network of tributaries carves the region into isolated pockets of pristine jungle. These enclaves provide refuge for a number of critically endangered species. Part of the province is protected by the Bokeo Nature Reserve, a 475 square mile sanctuary established in 1997 to save a rare species from extinction. The black-crested gibbon. With between 1,300 to 2,000 individuals left in the wild, they are one of the world's most endangered primates. An elegant creature perfectly suited to life in the high canopy. Sightings like this are rare. A female feeds in a tree. Like all females, she has a light coat and a distinctive black crest on her head. Her mate and their infant play nearby. In contrast to the females, male black-crested gibbons are jet black. The family spends each day travelling through the canopy, visiting their favourite feeding trees. Gibbons live in close-knit family groups. This young male will stay with his parents for more than 3 years, even after they have their next baby. It's 2 hours before sunset. While it's still light, the family heads back to the safety of its sleeping trees along the river. From its source in Tibet, the Mekong travels over 1,200 miles before it reaches the Bokeo province in the far northwest of Laos. It flows briefly along the Burmese border before continuing another 1,000 miles down through Laos, following its western border with Thailand. Gibbons, like many other creatures in the tropics, live in the canopy where food and nutrients are most concentrated. Those that don't live in the canopy must turn to the Mekong to satisfy their needs. The tributaries and wetlands of the Mekong Basin are home to a multitude of fish-eating birds. A pair of pied kingfishers rests on a branch overlooking the lake. Unlike most kingfishers that dive into the water from a perch, the pieds have a different approach. The male hovers over 30 feet above the lake and locates a target. Kingfishers have excellent eyesight above and below the water. But they don't get it right every time. He cleans his beak and rejoins his mate. Two black bands across his breast set him apart from the female. She has a single broken band around her breast. She's seen how not to do it. As she hits the water, bony plates slide across her eyes for protection. Without hungry chicks to feed, the prize is hers alone. The male kingfisher better up his game. True hovering like this is a specialist skill. Pied kingfishers are the largest birds on the planet able to do this. He beats his wings horizontally to achieve lift without thrust. This time, he doesn't miss. May, the start of the wet season in Laos. Monsoon winds pick up moisture from the Indian Ocean and head inland. Clouds envelop the landscape as the winds rise up over the hills and mountains of Laos. They empty their load over the forests along the Mekong floodplain. country is transformed. Wetlands are replenished. Insects and invertebrate numbers soar. And the birds quickly follow. Black-winged stilts and other wading species return in their thousands to breed over the coming months. These wetlands around the Mekong's tributaries are also home to a curious-looking primate. Stump-tailed macaques. Also known as bear macaques, they're covered in thick, long, dark fur. Their bright red faces are unmistakable. Although with age and exposure to sunlight, these darken to brown or black. Infants are born white. Their fur won't darken till they're around 4 months old. Like some humans, both males and females become partially bald as they age. The troop has stumbled across a grove of fruit trees. They find the seed pods irresistible. Stump-tailed macaques live in mixed groups of between 5 to 60 individuals. They inhabit forests up and down the Mekong, but their numbers are in decline. The troop is governed by a dominant male. Keeping everyone in line is a full-time job. There are a number of subordinate males in the troop. Most importantly, he must keep these hopeful suitors away from his harem of females. His attacks are necessary to reinforce the hierarchy, but stump-tailed macaques are quick to reconcile. The alpha male acknowledges their submissive behavior with a kiss. With order restored, he gets back to feeding along the bank of the stream. The rest of the troop is more interested in the tasty seed pods. Their thick fur protects the adults from the rain, and babies have their own living umbrellas. The yearlings aren't so fortunate. Without a heavy coat or the cover of mum, they shelter together under the trees. As evening approaches, the dominant male leads the troop back into the forest. everyone quickly falls in line. Well, nearly everyone. These jungles are dangerous at night. The troop's sleeping trees are hidden among these rocky outcrops. They're a safe place to spend the night. Further down the Mekong from the black-crested gibbons at the Bokeo Reserve, the call of a different species of gibbon rings out across the jungle. This is the morning solo of a male Laos gibbon. He reminds the neighbours on both sides of the river that this is his domain. There are 7 types of gibbon in Laos. They don't swim, so rivers form natural barriers between different species living in the same region. Unlike their black-crested cousins, male and female Laos gibbons can be either dark or light. They have distinct rings of white fur around their faces. And with white gloves and socks, they're also known as white-handed gibbons. Gibbons spend most of their lives high off the ground in the canopy. No other creatures on the planet can travel through trees as effectively. Their wrists and shoulders can fully rotate, and they have unusually long and muscular arms. With these adaptations, they swing like pendulums, arm to arm through the trees. Although other primates use this technique, gibbons are the specialists. When a gap between trees is larger than their swing, they simply leap. With the help of gravity, they seem to almost fly through the canopy. Gibbons can cruise like this for hours and barely expend any energy. They are effortless in their treetop environment. Perhaps their most impressive skill is the way they negotiate the 3-dimensional space of the canopy. It's far more complicated than running on the ground. If they misjudge which branch to grab next, it's a long way down. A newborn clings to its mother's stomach as she clambers round the canopy. From the moment they're born, baby gibbons are thrown into this way of life. The infant is pre-programmed not to let go, with strength to match. Most babies are born late in the wet season, when fruit is more plentiful. This neighbouring female has a slightly older baby. While her mate enjoys a quick lie down, she takes her baby to a branch where she can supervise some climbing practice. Not bad for a first attempt. But like mothers the world over, you can't take your eyes off your kids for a second. Gibbons evolved their exceptional physicality for one main reason: feeding in the canopy. Finding a tree laden with fruit is the easy part. Reaching the fruit is more tricky. This is where gibbons excel. Their extraordinary athletic ability allows them to get themselves into all sorts of bizarre positions. Nothing is out of reach. Their hands and feet perform interchangeable tasks as they glide around the trees. When a branch might not look strong enough to support them, gibbons expertly redistribute their weight and continue to feast. One might falter for a moment. But there's always a solution. It looks casual, but these are feats of strength far beyond human capabilities. This phenomenal power in their arms comes from their fused forearm muscles, which work together as one. But this strength comes at a cost. Gibbons have limited dexterity in their hands. They can freely move their thumbs and little fingers, but their fused forearm muscles means their 3 middle fingers can only move as one. It's a small price to pay for these masters of arboreal locomotion. Gibbons are the epitome of physical efficiency, perfectly evolved to exploit their treetop habitat. Further down the Mekong, there's another resident that has evolved in almost the opposite direction. A curious bird that has sacrificed efficiency and locomotion for showmanship. At dawn, a male peafowl announces his presence. The peacock's elaborate plumage is a wonder of the natural world, evolved to advertise his genetic prowess and attract females. Peahens choose males based on the quality of their plumage. The size and quantity of the iconic eye spots are paramount. But this beauty is also a handicap. It inhibits flight and makes it hard to avoid predators. And that's the point. Beauty is a burden only the strongest males can bear. When a peahen selects her mate, she gets more than a collection of fabulous feathers. A male with a dazzling appearance must also have the necessary strength and fitness to survive. These are the genetic qualities that he will pass on to his offspring. The ancient forests that grow along the banks of the Mekong are among the oldest on Earth. A vast array of animals live side by side and have evolved different strategies to cope with the dangers they face. The variation beautifully reveals itself with the nesting habits of the birds that live here. They are united in their need to protect their nests from a host of jungle predators. Some build nests high up, making them as difficult to reach as possible. Brightly coloured sparrows fashion these basket-like nests in the canopy. Others rely on stealth. A velvet-fronted nuthatch conceals her nest inside a hollow tree trunk. She shuttles in and out with beakfuls of insects to satisfy her hungry chicks. She tries not to attract the attention of a patrolling lizard. Nearby, a freckle-breasted woodpecker's nest is in the crosshairs. The lizard has caught the scent of its chicks. The female's formidable beak is enough to make it reconsider. Other birds evolved to nest in a completely different direction. Instead of going up, they went down. A pair of blue-winged pitters collects worms for their insatiable brood. Their well-camouflaged nest sits on the forest floor in a bamboo grove. The nest conceals both the chicks and their parents' bright plumage. Nightjar, on the other hand, is a master of subterfuge. Her silhouette and plumage blend seamlessly into the leaf litter. Nightjars don't actually bother with a nest. They make do with the forest floor. Her tiny chick is almost invisible to any predator. A beautifully simple approach. Back with a troop of stump-tailed macaques, there are a number of new mouths to feed. This baby was born overnight. She's clean and dry, ready for morning introductions. Everyone wants to meet the new addition. Her first steps are wobbly. She can barely support herself. She's learning to make sense of the world around her. Everything is a new experience. She will suckle for about a year, but as soon as she finds her feet, her mother will allow her to wander about the troop. Stump-tailed macaques are relaxed mothers compared to other species. They're happy for their young to explore the environment while they're still very small. But, like all babies, they sometimes bite off more than they can chew. This mother is so relaxed because other females don't kidnap babies, something that often happens in similar macaque species. Stump-taileds are extremely social, with a strong sense of community. Even a male lends a hand with childcare. Unusual behaviour for most macaques. The young infant works his way around the group, building bonds with the older generation. Despite the attention, sometimes a young macaque just wants its mother. But getting a hug isn't always straightforward, especially when your mother won't stay on the ground. Getting back down seems to be a problem as well. Thankfully, he hitches a ride. For now, this youngster is the centre of attention. But, like all males, eventually he will be forced from the troop. He will have to find another group of macaques and work his way up the hierarchy, as his father did before him. Just as the wildlife of Laos has lived alongside the Mekong for generations, so have the people. For thousands of years, communities along the Mekong basin have relied on the river and its resources. In the hills overlooking the Mekong, a girl from a local village is collecting mulberry leaves, the cornerstone of an industry that dates back 5,000 years. The silkworms on her family farm won't eat anything else. Silkworms are the caterpillars of the domesticated silk moth, arguably the most important insect in Asia. The process of making silk starts as the moths lay their eggs. When these hatch, the feeding frenzy on mulberry leaves begins. The caterpillars grow rapidly. 25 days and 4 molts later, the larvae are ready to build their cocoons. Each caterpillar spins a precious cocoon using saliva glands. And it's the cocoons the farmers are after. Extracting the silk is a delicate art. Each cocoon is made from a single silk thread that is between 1,000 and 3,000 feet long. The worms themselves are considered a delicacy and sold in local markets alongside some other rather unusual food choices. The Laotian Gibbons wake up around sunrise. The morning call of the adult male lets everyone know it's time to get up. His song can be heard from around 4.5 miles away. Things might start slowly, but the group will be on the move for most of the day. Breakfast is an immediate priority. They aren't very fussy eaters. Fruit is their favourite, but they'll happily eat leaves, insects, and even birds' eggs. Laotian Gibbons partner for life. They live in small family groups, usually a pair with their offspring. There's no dominance between males and females. Parents share responsibility for leading their family group as they forage. It's midday, time for an hour's rest. Some take the opportunity to snooze. Others groom each other. This pair enjoys a rare moment of peace. The female carefully takes time to remove pests from her partner's thick fur. He isn't complaining. His hopes of a little downtime are short-lived. Their infant doesn't like being ignored. His father knows when to admit defeat and moves aside so Mum can turn her attention to their youngster. With the coast clear, the father finds a nice spot to stretch out and have a nap. All his son wants to do is wrestle. Running away doesn't help. A game of chase is just as fun. As the afternoon rolls on, the gibbons get back to feeding. They share the canopy with a number of other creatures and even benefit from the diverse community. A raptor's alarm call stops everyone in their tracks. Gibbons have learned to recognize the raptor's warning for danger and head over to see what the commotion is about. A water monitor cruises below. Its forked tongue tastes the air. It has picked up their scent. The male alerts the group. Monitors are voracious carnivores and can climb trees. The raptor knows its nest is in danger. As the monitor reaches the riverbank, the gibbons become increasingly alarmed. The adults are safe. But if a baby panics and falls, it is no match for a monitor on the ground. His haunting voice that sings each morning now serves a greater purpose. Others join his attempt to scare off the reptile. The monitor hesitates. Their intimidation works. Together, this eclectic community sees off the danger, while the rest of the group watch the lizard disappear. The male finally finds the time for a well-earned snooze. Soon the monsoon rains will pass. The young gibbon will become a master of his treetop environment. The infant macaques will find their place in the troop hierarchy. And the peacock will find a mate. Laos is the unexplored jewel of Southeast Asia. The Mekong is the nation's central nervous system. As the river flows the length of the country, it sculpts the environment and wildlife around it. It carves out pockets of ancient forest that provide refuge for some of the most endangered creatures on Earth, and offers us hope that more might still be discovered.
Hey Love Nature fans, be sure to like and subscribe to catch all our wild animal stories. Get closer to nature right here on YouTube.